tid for Inside Israel, et program fra internasjonale kristne ambassade Jerusalem. I dagens program skal vi til Jerusalem og møte vår leder Jürgen Bühler, som ser på bruddet som fant sted i relasjonen mellom jøder og kristne. Men først, Syria brukte Golanhøydene til militære formål og som en rampe for angrep mot Israel. Israel derimot har gjort dette stedet om til en oase. Vi blir med vår mediasjef David Parsons til Golanhøydene.
Welcome to Encounter Israel. We're coming to you today from the Golan Heights. The Golan Heights is a long, high plateau in northern Israel. It's like a natural barrier between Israel and Syria, that Syria used to sit up here and attack Israel, had a complete military advantage. And today it's been in Israel's hands for 50 years. It's sovereign Israeli territory. And today we're going to look at the military and strategic value and why Israel needs to hold on to it going forward. After Israel captured the Golan in 1967, they had to defend it in 1973, the October 73 Yom Kippur War. And one of the great battles of that war took place here. We're on Mount Bental, one of the volcanic peaks up on the Golan, gives you a commanding view of what's called the Valley of Tears. And here there was a unit of 45 Israeli tanks under Avigdor Kahalani, who held off hundreds of Syrian tanks coming from the Damascus area. It took several days, very intense battle. And since then, the Golan area and this border between Israel and Syria has been fairly quiet, the quietest of all Israel's borders in many ways. But over the last 8 years, we've had this civil war in Syria, and you could stand here. A lot of tourists coming to this site now. The IDF has opened it up to people to visit, and you could hear bombs going off. The loyalists to the Assad regime, the Syrian troops, fighting against the rebels and even against ISIS militias down here in southern Syria. Now, before the Syrian civil war, there were still a lot of Israelis saying, for the sake of peace, we need to give back the Golan. But after watching what happened there, even ISIS, radical Islamist militias taking over entire areas, Hezbollah and Iran trying to open a new front against Israel from here on the Golan, I think most Israelis now are glad their leaders held on to the Golan. We're in the ruins of a Syrian bunker overlooking the upper Jordan Valley or the Hula Valley. There's a couple telltale signs that this was a Syrian bunker. You see the bullet holes from the battle. There's some barbed wire around, which was always surrounding bunkers, military sites. And this was destroyed by the Israelis in 1967 when they captured the Golan. They had to destroy a series of bunkers built on the sides of the Golan by the Syrians, where the Syrians were able for years to look down at Israel and just take target practice at their farmers, at their fishing boats, and they turned it into one big military base. It was all minefields and bunkers and trenches, but ever since Israel has been up on the Golan, they've turned it into something different. They love to come up here to hike, enjoy the natural beauty, hold picnics, campouts. They come stay in the log cabins. They come ski on Mount Hermon. It's become a resort area. There's large Israeli farms and orchards and horse and cattle ranches. And today, we're going to tell you how after Israel captured the Golan has captured the people of Israel. Besides all the Israelis who come to visit the Golan, there are around 15,000 Israeli Jews who live up here year-round, around 15,000 Druze that live in villages at the foot of Mount Hermon. And if you were an Israeli over the last 50 years moving up here, you took a great risk that your government might give the Golan back to Syria, and all that you worked on, your livelihood, your businesses, all your investment here might be wasted. So we want to go into this factory we're visiting here today, Ole Essence Olive Oil Factory and Showroom, and just see what they've been able to build over the last 50 years.
We have over here, we make olive oil and we make different types of skincare products which are based on the olive oil, and they are 100% natural. We utilize every part of the olive. Our own scientists over here, they are the ones who produce all of the cosmetic products that we have. Our olive trees grow all around the Sea of Galilee. We have about 20,000 trees all around the area. And over here is where they are pressed and made into olive oil and products.
Naomi, you have grown up here on the Golan. What's it like for you? You could live anywhere in Israel. Why here?
Well, this is one of the most peaceful places I've ever been to. I mean, you walk in the street, you see a lot of nature everywhere you go. The Golan, in a way, is like, it's the vacation place. People all around Israel, they come to the Golanhøydene and they're like, this is the place where you go on vacation if you want to go camping or relaxing with your family.
Well, we've come down from the Golan. It's been a full day, but a fun day, bringing you a taste of the beauty of the Golan and the wonderful place that Israel has made of it. And I think going forward, Israel's going to maintain its hold on the Golan because of the special hold that this place has on the people of Israel.
Tidlig I historien skapte kirken en dyp kløft mellom kristne og jøder. De ble urettmessig anklaget, trakassert og forfulgt. Vår leder I Jerusalem, Jürgen Bühler, skal nå gi oss et dypdykk I denne historien.
We are here in Jerusalem's old city in Christ Church. I would like to start with a story that I experienced years ago in China. I was invited to speak to a house group leaders gathering in a city in China. Those house group leaders, they represented close to 1 million believers in this area. And they told me very excitingly that I was the first person from Israel to share to them about Israel. And I started with the ABC about why it's important to bless Israel, and I very quickly realized that those people knew everything I was sharing to them. At the end I asked them, so who did teach you about that? And I never will forget the amazing look on the face of the pastor. He looked at me and he says, Jürgen, what do you mean who taught us? This is all in the Bible. And talking to him, it made me think, what happened in the church that a teaching that so obviously is in the Bible, that Chinese Christians understood it by reading the Bible, has become so misunderstood and misrepresented by the church over the last 2,000 years. It's even more amazing if you look at the teachings of Paul. Paul had a very deep concern and love for his own people, the Jewish people. We need to understand even the early church in Jerusalem, it was an exclusive 100% Jewish community that was gathering here in the city. And when Paul later wrote about the Jewish people to the church in Rome, he said something like this, for example, in Romans 9 verse 3, he says, they, the Israelites, To them belong the adoption, to them belong the glory, the covenants, the giving of the law, the worship, to them belong the patriarchs, and from their race, according to the flesh, even Messiah was coming. That means Paul had an incredible understanding of the calling of the Jewish people. And then he also said, he says, even if they don't accept that Messiah, if they don't believe in Jesus, in Romans 11 verse 28, he says, they are still beloved for the sake of the fathers. The first reason why this breach between the church and the Jewish people was taking place is going back all the way to the early decades of Christianity. The Roman Empire was coming into the city of Jerusalem, and historians like Josephus, they are telling us that a large part of the population was sent into exile. And just a few decades later, with the revolt of Bar Kokhba, Hadrian, who was the emperor at that time, expelled all the Jews that were living here in Jerusalem and most of the Jews that have been living in the land of Israel. That means by the year 110 and 120, there were virtually hardly any Jews left in the city of Jerusalem. And we see this also in the church, that by the year 130, for the first time in church history, the very first bishop here in Jerusalem became a Gentile. That means for the global church, the center of gravity was shifting away from Jerusalem. It was shifting to Constantinople. It was shifting to the city of Rome, where people were looking from now on in the future for direction regarding Christianity. And this was the beginning of the preach. Constantine has been the first emperor who accepted Christianity as his own personal religion. And within a few years, he declared Christianity as the state religion of the entire Roman Empire. Within a few years, in the year 325, he called forth for the first council, the very first council after the council in Book of Acts chapter 15, where he united the church together under a whole series of different doctrines. And one of them was how to celebrate the feasts of the Bible. His main attention was on the feast of Passover, or the feast of Easter, how he liked to call it. And he felt it's not appropriate to celebrate the most holy festival of all festivals in Christianity according to Jewish tradition. He was writing to the churches in his empire in the following way. He says,
Vi erklærer gode nyheter til dere. Vi feirer herved ikke lenger påske I tråd med tradisjonene til jødene. Det ble erklært å være særskilt uverdig for den helligste av alle høytider å bli feiret I tråd med jødenes tradisjoner, som har tilsøkt sine hender med de verste forbrytelser og har forblindede øyne. La oss da ikke ha noe til felles med morderne av vår Herre.
So that means that Constantine shifted away the most important holiday of Christianity from the biblical calendar that was given to us in the book of Exodus away to the Roman calendar as it was held in the Roman Empire. And he even took it a step further, that he invented an entire new holiday that did not exist before, because many Christians until that time still celebrated Shabbat as their weekly holy day, as the day where they would seek God. And he said it's inappropriate to keep that Jewish feast, and he invented Sunday as a new day that the church should keep from now on. Again, the motivation was not a change in calendar, but a dissociation from Jewish traditions, because he hated the Jews. And this would change forever the attitude of the church towards the Jewish people. It was not anymore like Paul said, the gospel was to the Jews first, but from now on it was extremely difficult for a Jewish person even to join the church. They could join the church only if they would stop celebrating their Jewish traditions and if they would adopt the Nicene tradition of the Catholic Church. Also, they even had to change even their Jewish names into Gentile names. That means the church became a complete Gentile expression of their faith, and it alienated many Jewish people from Christianity. Today we are living in an amazing time where we do see that this breach is being healed. The Christian Embassy over the past decades had developed amazing friendships and partnerships with Jewish institutions all across the country. It really has become a friendship that reaches our heart and reaches the heart of the Jewish people. We are working in the communities bordering to Gaza to build bomb shelters together with a rabbi in that area. We are working in Haifa with the rabbi, the municipality, and many officials to help Holocaust survivors in the entire country of Israel, in our Haifa home for Holocaust survivors. We are working together with a Jewish agency to help Jewish people returning back to their homelands, and many, many more projects are underlining this new friendship that is taking place between the Jewish people and the church today. It has gone so far that just a few weeks ago, Prime Minister Netanyahu in a public meeting declared that evangelical Christians today, they have become the best friends of the state of Israel. And how amazing is that to think about, that an ancient hatred that was going so deep that led to the Holocaust, to the Inquisition and many other atrocities, that this group is considered today as a strategic ally of the Jewish people. The prophet Malachi said that the Lord will send in the last day the prophet Elijah, and he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to their fathers. And I do believe that these are the days in which we are living in, where this historic breach is being repaired right in front of our eyes. In conclusion, I want you to think and pray about what you can do to become a part of this amazing move of God that is taking place. I want to encourage you to align yourself with God's purposes that He has for the nation of Israel. You can become active in many different ways by praying for Israel. The Word of God tells us that we should pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Why don't you become a prayer partner of Israel even today and join the Isaiah 62 prayer campaign of the ICEJ? Also, get yourself acquainted in the Word of God, what God is doing with the Jewish people. Study the Bible regarding His purposes with Israel. And if you are a pastor, why don't you even teach a series on Israel in your own church? And lastly, become practically engaged with what God is doing here in this land. Support one of the many projects here in the land of Israel, or become a voice on behalf of Israel in your own country. And I know God is going to bless you for that.
Internasjonale kristne ambassade Jerusalem arbeider på en bred front og på mange områder for å velsigne Israel, både i landet og utover hele verden. Vi hjelper jøder hjem til Israel. Fattige israelere får hjelp, og vi taler Israels sak i mange nasjoner, og ikke minst vi underviser Guds ord om Israel til menighetene. Vi er med og gir de mest trengende av de holocaust-overlevende en verdig alderdom ved Haifa Home i Israel. Vi avslutter dagens sending med dette innslaget.
נכנסתי, ואני גרה פה כבר כמעט 3 שנים. יש לי חדר נפלא, שקט, שאני יכולה לחיות בו כמו בבית. אני לא צריכה לעשות שום דבר, לא צריכה לסחוב ממכולת, לא צריכה לבשל. הכל מוכן, ומנקים לי פעם בשבוע, וחיים מאוד מאוד נוחים, ומלאים עם חברות חדשות. ויש לי חיים מאוד נוחים שלא היו לי אף פעם בחיים, עד שבאתי הנה. ואני מאושרת. נודע לי שכל הבניין הזה מאורגן על ידי שגרירות נוצרית בירושלים, והם עוזרים לנו, שזה באמת תענוג לחיות פה. תודה רבה רבה, ומקרב לב, עבור העזרה שלכם, ואין לי מילים להגיד כמה שזה יפה שאתם עוזרים לנו, שכל כך נחוץ לנו עזרתכם. תודה.
2000 år siden så sa Paulus at vi sto i gjeld til det jødiske folk på grunn av den åndelige velsignelse som de har betydd for oss kristne. Men jeg lurer på, hvor stor har den gjelden blitt i dag etter 2000 år med forfølgelser imot dette folket? Antisemitismen under andre verdenskrig, som de som bor her, er offere for. Det er ikke det eneste. Det er det verste, men det er ikke det eneste. Hvert eneste århundre opp igjennom historien så har jøder blitt forfulgt på det groveste i Europa.
אני רוצה להגיד לכל הנוצרים כאן מחיפה, מארץ ישראל, שמה שאתם עושים, אלוהים אוהב את זה. אני ממש אומר לכל אחד שאלוהים יברך אותו, שייתן לו ברכה על מה שאתם עושים למען הניצולי שואה שעברו את כל הזוועות, כמו שהנביא ישעיהו אומר, הלא פרוס לחם לרעב, ואתם מקיימים את מה שהנביא ישעיהו רצה, שהשם יהיה עמכם.
Stå med din ambassade i Jerusalem, den internasjonale kristne ambassade. Vi ønsker å være her i landet og gjøre dine ønsker om å velsigne det jødiske folk og Israel om til praktisk handling.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope and you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord, you give life. You give life, you are love.